Welcome back to AI War Fleet Command. More of the Champion reboot coming up here, and we are on Mars, home of the next hybrid, and we're going to make sure that there it is, that it does not survive and does not finish its construction. And while we're here, we're going to knock out these 5 special forces as well. We've already done the previous raiding. There were 13 hybrids in here, knocked them out. You can see we're starting to get interesting numbers. We now have critical mass in the fleet, to the point where anything below, say, 15 to 20 hybrids is not going to bother me anymore. So I'm going to let it build up just a little bit more. I may end up going into Ganymede, because 11 there on a Mark IV system, it wouldn't hurt to get some raiding done in there as well. I probably should try to clean out that system. And I would really like to get to the point where I can do a beachhead in there, but I'm not quite there yet. I did unlock the Mark II sniper turrets. I've got those in place. That used the little bit of energy that we've been acquiring from the champion missions. They did do one counterattack. They cleaned out most of the threat. They brought in 3 shadow frigates and some other ships into Radislava. A lot of high mark Zenith reprocessors that they'd been building up. And it's a good thing I put up an extra shield in here. They did damage the command station some, but only very minimally through the shielding. And here you can see we're fighting off some more ships, the latest wave. Another one's going to hit soon. Not particularly worried about that. Our increased defenses held it off without too much trouble. Still, the fact that they were willing to attack at all shows they're getting closer to our threshold, and we've got to be careful and continue our defenses. So I definitely am glad I put up the heavy beam cannons, and I'm glad I've got most of my turrets up to Mark II and the extra shielding. All that worth it. I did have enough energy left to build Leech starships, but that's about it. So we still don't have the Plasma Siege starships, don't have quite enough energy for those, or the laser Gatlings. The fleet is still not full, but it's pretty close. Okay, so let's see what happens in here. This is not our full fleet. It's a good part of it. We have some that are just sort of hanging out, being rebuilt, and so on from the previous raids. There's that super hybrid right in the middle, and it's going to go away soon, I'm pretty sure. We've got some pretty high mark ships in here. And we're losing some, but not a great deal. Okay, let's head back in here. We should be able to clear all these out fairly quickly, I think. And is that a Zenith? It is. Let's focus fire on the Zenith. There we go. Okay. And it's time to clean out the rest of this nonsense. Now, here's our Shadow Cruiser, and what I decided to do with it, I went with human. I've got nano subverter modules on the back for reclamation damage. They're not doing a great deal. They're doing some. But then we've got flak, MLRS, lasers on the other spots, as you can see. And then we've got a couple of shields and a couple of the bomber bays. I think in order to do a lot of damage, I would need a full complement, or something close to it, of the nano subverters. And ultimately, they may not be worth it. Just because of how many other weapons I'd have to get rid of. I'm kind of curious, though. I think a lot of the stuff we run into in the nebulas is also immune to reclamation. So that would make that even somewhat less worthwhile. Whoops. Looks like that's one that we recaptured. And of course I've got the Leech starships with as well. So we've stopped the current construction, which is good. And there's of course going to be another hybrid. I think one new one is pretty much always going to be generated, but you know, bought ourselves a little more free time. And then once we're done in here, I'm going to be able to go and take the champion off and do other things. What do we have left? We've got these 2 down here. And even though Mars is not on alert, I just figured while I'm in here, it doesn't hurt to knock out all of these Special Forces guard posts and just give us that much less that we'll have to deal with later. And it does seem to me that when I'm going in, like the Special Forces relief that they're getting in some of these systems is not as high as I would have expected. I think that knocking out these Special Forces guard posts, we'll have to wait a little bit longer till we do some tougher systems to be sure. But I think that knocking out some of them is really making a significant difference. And then for the first time, I decided I would poke my head into Ganymede first. Might as well make this just a full rating session. And I want to escape over here. This is a nice spot near the edge of the system. It's a Mark IV planet, so I imagine they're probably going to send whatever help they think they can send in here. And if I get hit too much, I'll just try to retreat. And they also have, a decent amount of hybrids. So I expect to take significant losses. But my goal here is just to clear out the hybrids as much as I can. There are also 3 hybrid facilities in this system. Yep, and we're capturing some things. Let's join up in here. And they've got some parasites over here, but we've got enough firepower they won't last long, and let's go after them. Okay, so the initial foray went just fine. Okay, so where off to next? I think I just want to work my way around. And this looks like a decent area. Let's see how far away this stuff can hit. Okay, I should be able to take out all of this before messing with that laser guard post. Because those are going to be pretty severe. And this one... Oh, I didn't catch what kind of hybrid facility it was, but it doesn't really matter. It's gone now. Okay, so they've got the barracks in here. Eventually want to take that out. This is one of those systems where I do want to take out all of the various guard posts. So they got a laser here, an MLRS here. They don't actually have that many, I don't think, other than the Special Forces ones. Let's check out where those hybrid facilities are. And, okay, they had a Mark III module construction factory. That's a nice one. That one I got rid of already. They've got a hybrid... Ah! Okay, so there is, this first one of these I've seen, a Hive Spawner. So once I take that out, it will actually reduce the cap and how fast they replace them. Very nice. And then a Mark II module construction. So all of those are ones that I definitely want to see go. But the only actual ones they have that are going to hurt us are the MLRS and the laser. And this is where both of those are. So let's knock that out first. I actually had a better group for this than I thought. Most of the championships, some of the bigger ones are heavy. And I've, of course, taken the champion itself. But there we go. The actual ships that it gets from the nebulas, the smaller ones, are all basically medium and light hull. So there we go. That went down pretty quickly. And now we've got some significant kills in the hybrid battle. So that's very nice. MLRS. Got to remember what that handles. Yeah, and pretty much the other group is basically what I want to take in against this. And frankly, most of our ships are pretty good against the MLRS, but again, it will take out some of this group quite easily, so I've got to redivide. We did get a small level 1 reprisal for our efforts, but that was no big deal, and soon it was time to pop Mr. Barracks. And 100 Mark IV ships is not pleasant, but I don't think it'll take that long. A lot of Zenith reprocessors. Down to about 50 or so. We've even captured some. Don't know if the captured ones will survive at all. Very few of them will, if any. And there's our first exo wave being announced. How lovely. And we've had a couple of hybrids trickle in, but really very little Special Forces response, which is encouraging because it's further evidence that our anti-Special Forces strategy is very much working. Clear out the rest of these reprocessors. We're going to get another small reprisal. But yeah, overall, very successful series of raiding here. And here comes a little bit more. And now we've knocked out the biggest threat, the biggest neighboring threat by far to Papagena. We look at the overall picture, I'm pretty happy with it. We got a little over 1 million metal. And I definitely want to head off and do some more champion work before that wave arrives, and also do a little bit of timing out of it. I want to just see how fast it goes up. I think, remember last time it took quite a while. But just see how fast that ramps up, and therefore how long we've got to wait until how many missions we can get in. Now if we look around, we've got 10 in Ceres, don't quite have to worry about that yet. 7 in Hestia, you know, no huge amounts all the way around, and we've made some good progress. I still want to further do some raids over time in between, knocking out more hybrids, stuff like that, but the main goal is to build up the champion. So this is probably a little bit of a shorter session, but I don't want to go ahead with another champion mission just yet until the next one, because those tend to be pretty lengthy. So we will take our cruiser on its first Nebula mission when I return. Till then, thanks for watching, everybody. More AI War will continue.